Now to the latest in the Trump files. An article in this morning's New York Times gives a window into how Donald Trump behaved during a deposition in 2011. Hypersensitive, boorish, demeaning, and hyperbolic are just some of the adjectives used to describe Trump in this article. And this whole story revolves around a breast pump. Joining us now is the attorney who deposed Donald Trump back then, Elizabeth Beck. Elizabeth, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Before we get to the breast pump, very quickly, can you just explain why you were deposing Donald Trump in 2011, what it was about?
Yes, I represented a group of people who put down significant amount of money as down payments on Trump real estate, specifically condominiums in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The project failed, and they lost their money. So they hired my firm, and they hired me to get their deposits back.
Okay, and at that time, you had just given birth 3 months earlier to a baby, and you were breastfeeding.
Yes.
And you had arranged it with Trump's team that you would take a break at an appropriate time and excuse yourself to go and use your breast pump. What happened when you tried to take that break?
That is absolutely correct. The lunch break was agreed to by everyone. It was pre-negotiated. It was nobody had any issues with it. When lunchtime came around, Donald Trump did not agree to the break. He said no breaks.
And you say that he
I needed to take the break.
I mean, you say that you described it as he lost it.
Yes.
And he had a meltdown. Can you describe it?
He had an absolute meltdown. When I said that I needed the break, and it was for breast pumping purposes, he got up, his face got red, he shook his finger at me, and he screamed, "You're disgusting, you're disgusting," and he ran out of there. And we were not able to conclude his deposition that day. It was concluded in South Florida, where he flew down, and I was able to conclude my deposition.
So he left
but
the
that was
because
later.
you wanted to. It is your understanding that because you wanted to take a break for breast pumping, he called you disgusting. I believe at the time you said he also called you uptight, and then he left the deposition entirely.
Correct. He left, and we did not see him again that day.
Okay.
Or that week.
Here's what Trump's attorney has said in response to your story. Look, let's put this up. Trump's language was in no way a statement about her decision to breastfeed or pump. It was solely the fact that she was appearing to do it in the middle of a deposition. In my 20 years of legal practice, I've never seen more bizarre behavior at a deposition. That is what led to his remark. What's your response?
That is absolutely untrue. As anybody who breastfeeds their baby understands, you have a breast pump, which is an apparatus, and you just need a private room with an electrical outlet. So all I was requesting was a break that everybody had agreed to during lunch hour so that I can excuse myself and pump my baby's food in the privacy of a room.
And you were not trying to do
present.
it in the middle of the deposition?
No, and I don't think anybody is actually saying that. If they are saying that now, that's news to me.
So this is an interesting story, obviously, and it's interesting to see how Donald Trump behaved in this particular moment. But do you think that this is relevant to his presidential race?
Yes. The reason is Donald Trump ran out of there because the idea of breast pumping so distressed him that he really couldn't handle it. So it makes you wonder what kind of a presidential candidate who can't even handle a legal proceeding, a deposition that involves a breast pump, and he has to just run out of there and just basically have a meltdown, and he has to fly down later at his own time and expense because he couldn't handle it at that time, what kind of a leader of the United States would that be? Is he going to behave that way when he's negotiating treaties with China or Russia? You have to wonder about these things.
So you're saying that if the pressure of a breast pump, if he caved and folded, how would he deal with Putin?
Yes, because let me tell you, I don't think he was expecting that to happen.
So it was the unexpected.
I don't know. Maybe it was unexpected. It was not a big deal. Most people, none of the attorneys were really concerned. I asked for a break. They didn't really object to the break. And when I told them it was for that purpose later on, nobody batted an eye, but he just completely could not handle it.
So, Elizabeth, I mean, do you consider the way he treated you that day to be, quote, presidential?
I think non-presidential is the least of what you can call his behavior that day. And I don't say that personally, but I say it was unprofessional. It was a lack of self-control. It was fear. It was panic. It was a whole host of things. And I don't think any of those things should attach to anybody running for president.
Elizabeth Beck, thanks so much for coming on New Day and sharing your personal story. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.